welcome aboard H-Town, Houston, Texas. Playing host to tonight's RWL Rage. Welcome aboard, everybody. My name's Don Hickson, and joining me will be Myron Schimmelman and Christy Ogilvy. Oh, and folks, we have got a terrific lineup this evening. What a great RWL Rage lineup is on tap tonight. You're definitely going to want to be around for this one.
You ain't kidding, Don. It's a terrific card. Who's on top tonight? You got the Vandal Brothers here tonight. We got Dynamite Jeannie Parker defending the Women's World Championship. American Supreme Matt Clark. Oh, it's just a terrific, and there's so much more.
We'll see Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot in tag team action. No Rules Champion Magic is in a non-title hardcore with the Samoan Bulldozer Umaga. Good old GM Herc. Hold out all the stops with. Tonight's card, and I'm here for it, guys.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great card, and we're opening tonight with the Yankee Rose, Georgia Washington, in a rematch from several weeks ago, going up against Brenda Blair.
Tonight's opening match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Yankee Rose, Miss Georgia Washington.
Miss Georgia Washington, valet to Kurt Angle and lightning rod of controversy. Absolutely true. One of the most unpopular All-American girls in RWL today.
She sure hasn't won any hearts or minds, attacking an opponent with a steel chair after beating her in the match. Brooklyn Von Braun, Pam Parsons, and Liberty Belle Danielle. They've all denounced Georgia, but she's focused on Brenda Blair, who beat her 1-2-3 in their last outing several weeks ago. Georgia's got it in her head she's gonna get even with Brenda, but I'd love to see her do it.
Don't laugh. Any woman who would swing a chair at an opponent, you don't laugh at.
And her opponent, from San Jose, California, Brenda Blair.
Now here's a gal who knows a little something about being popular. Brenda's been doing really well since her return, and it can't be all that long before a title opportunity comes knocking at her door. But right now, she's looking good to win tonight's card opener. At least to me.
Not just you, Christy, a whole lot of RWL fans of the opinion that Brenda Blair defeated Georgia Washington once and she can most certainly do it again.
But this is a wrestling match, not a popularity contest. If it was a popularity contest, I think Brenda Blair would probably win it hands down.
An exciting ladies division card opener tonight here on RWL Rage. And get a look at Brenda Blair, the epitome of confidence here. As referee Walt Rothburn sounds the bell, the ladies come center ring. Brenda Blair with a right and a jawbreaker from Georgia Washington. Georgia from behind with that inverted dragon sleeper. Referee saying everything's okay. Brenda Blair finding her way out of the hold. Brenda catches a couple of chops from Georgia Washington, quickly taken down, and a leg breaker from the Yankee Rose. Georgia Washington rolls Brenda Blair over, goes for the other leg as well, turns her over yet again. Georgia Washington with another knee into the leg of Brenda Blair. And Georgia Washington definitely displaying a bit of a strategy here, attacking the limbs of Brenda Blair. Brenda Blair back to her feet. Both ladies fail to connect with their move. Brenda has her up, nails her with a pile driver. Georgia Washington slowly back to her feet. Whipped over the top rope and out onto the floor. Here comes Brenda Blair doing a little bit of showboating. For the folks in the front row here, Brenda Blair moves in on Georgia Washington, goes behind rear waistlock into a headlock and a headlock punch, and down goes Georgia. Brenda Blair trying to choke the life out of the Yankee Rose here. Georgia Washington catches a knee to the skull, and Brenda Blair really pouring it on here. Brenda rounds up Georgia again. Georgia counters. She's got Brenda, rolls her back inside the ring. And here comes Georgia Washington, catches a running forearm from Brenda Blair. Brenda gathers her up again. Whoa, what a kick. Brenda Blair rebounds off the ropes and boom, elbow across the chest of Georgia Washington. Brenda Blair, with all the momentum in the world on her side at the moment, driving knees into the head of the Yankee Rose. Georgia Washington gathered up again by Brenda Blair, whipped to the ropes, and what another driving knee into the head of Georgia Washington. Georgia whipped over the ropes out onto the apron, hard right hand and a drop kick that puts Georgia out onto the floor again. And Brenda Blair definitely feeling it this evening, showboating, as referee Walt Rothburn initiates the count. Brenda Blair gouging the face of Georgia Washington. And Georgia in some trouble here. Brenda Blair's got her all the way up, and look at this, a little mumbo jumbo. Georgia Washington averting disaster here, gets herself back inside the ring. Brenda Blair catches a series of chops and kicks from Georgia Washington. And what a suplex with a kip up from Georgia Washington. Wow. Brenda Blair whips Georgia to the ropes, and boom, what a spine buster. Over the top rope, out onto the floor goes Brenda Blair. Tried to catch herself, but no dice. Could have been a lot worse, though. Brenda Blair with a series of shots and a rib breaker to Georgia Washington. Brenda Blair going for her first cover. One, but only a one. Georgia Washington finding her way out of the pin. Brenda Blair incessantly trash-talking Georgia Washington. These two really do not get along. Over the top rope, out onto the floor again goes Georgia Washington. Brenda Blair slides out under that bottom rope, slick as you please. And Brenda Blair, look at this hard shot to the side of the head, and she is just absolutely trying to destroy the Yankee Rose. Brenda Blair rolls Georgia Washington towards the apron, but makes her way back inside the ring herself. And Georgia Washington, Brenda Blair comes back out, starts delivering stomps to the face of the Yankee Rose and doing a whole lot more showboating. She feels she's got this one in the bag. Sadistic little series of kicks from Brenda Blair on Georgia Washington. And Georgia hurled towards the barricades near the far corner. And Brenda Blair with a Lutez press and a series of hard right hands. Georgia Washington has not, oh man, look at Brenda Blair. Absolutely on a roll here against Georgia Washington. Brenda Blair stomping the hands and fingers of the Yankee Rose. The referee continuing to count as Brenda makes her way back inside Georgia Washington in a heap of pain from those stomps to the hand. Brenda Blair steps out again, restarting the count. Rounds Georgia up. Georgia counters quickly, locks up Brenda Blair into the ring steps. Goes Brenda Blair. Georgia Washington rounds up Brenda, hurls her towards the corner, near the barricades, makes her way back inside the ring. Brenda Blair back on her feet and back inside herself. Collar and elbow tie-up from Georgia. And a one-arm slam to Brenda Blair. Takes her to the outside. Georgia over the top rope. Whoa, my man. Did you see that? Georgia Washington with a high-risk maneuver paying off with dividends. And Brenda Blair, again, the limbs being tortured by Georgia Washington, driving a knee into the midsection of Brenda Blair as the referee continues to count. Georgia Washington countered by Brenda Blair, back on her feet. Brenda gets Georgia Washington back inside the ring. Here comes Brenda, a couple of chops from Georgia Washington. Rounds her up, slams her down by the leg, and a leg breaker again. Absolutely tormenting the limbs of Brenda Blair. Georgia Washington with a nasty chop across the face and a slam face first in the canvas. Georgia Washington covers. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, my, that is it. Georgia Washington winning this matchup by pinfall in an upset.
The time, 7 minutes, 30 seconds. And your winner, Miss Georgia Washington.
Well, sir, with Brenda Blair having had all the advantage from most of the match, it has to be said Georgia Washington snatching victory from the jaws of defeat in this matchup with Brenda Blair in a huge upset and a pinfall win for the Yankee Rose.
Oh, you know I hate it. Hey, at least she didn't resort to whipping on Brenda with a chair or anything. Not this particular time anyway. Nasty heifer. Can't stand Georgia Washington.
Well, in spite of that, Georgia Washington picking up an upset pinfall win over Brenda Blair and tonight's card opener. And we'll be back with more RWL Rage right after the break.